It's 4:30 p.m. here in Seoul. I'm Devin Whiting at the Arirang News Center, and it's time for today's briefing from the South Korean health authorities. It looks like that's about to begin. We'll be getting updates on the case numbers, trends, and more. Let's listen in.
And we will also have the Director General of the Ministry of Health and Welfare and others present with us today. We'll be providing sign language translation. First, we will hear from Director General Sung Eun-kyung from CDC about the countermeasures against COVID-19. Hello, I am the Director General of COVID-19, and I am Sung Eun-kyung, and I will start the regular briefing for May 30th. In today's meeting on CDC, we talked about the vaccines that will be provided by the U.S. government, and also we had discussions about the plan on its vaccination. After the U.S.-Korea summit, we had close discussions, and U.S. government decided to provide around 1 million Janssen vaccine to Korea, compared to the 550,000, compared to the 500,000 that was to be provided by U.S. is actually double. And a military plane will be sent in the early June to be provided. This vaccine shows the symbol of the relationship between Korea and U.S. And U.S. government will be providing the Janssen vaccine to the military personnel and development personnel in Korea. An agreement was made. Right now, a lot of countries are asking U.S. government for additional vaccines, and against the backdrop of the U.S.-Korea alliance, the vaccine was provided. And this is something that is unprecedented in terms of the relationship between two countries, and we believe that U.S. government was very considerate in providing this vaccine to Korea. And after going through many discussions, agreements, we have decided to provide the vaccines to the reserve force and the civil defense in Korea. However, for those that will be subject to the vaccines, for 1 million, we are actually going to get reservation. And from July to September, the vaccines will actually be administered, and it will go through the experts. And we have actually made the decision through the task force team that consisted of experts as well. For the Janssen vaccine, it is very effective in terms of its effectiveness, and it was approved by the Korea FDA, and therefore its safety and validity has been verified. And in Korea, we also had plans to supply 6 million of Janssen vaccine in the second half, as was the contract that was signed between Korea and the country. And it is also considered to be effective against the South African variant form of COVID-19. And around 10 million U.S. people have been vaccinated with Janssen vaccine as well. And there were those in the Katusa and the U.S. military personnel that has already been administered with Janssen vaccine as well. And until now, we have not seen any abnormal side effects from Janssen vaccine. And the Janssen vaccine that will be provided by U.S. government will be administered in June. And it will be vaccinated in the same manner as the vaccines that are provided to those that are more than 60 years old. We're going to have the reservation. And for those that will be subject to the vaccination, we want to ask you to reserve online from June 1st to the 11th. And we will go through the shipping, and the vaccination will actually starting on June 10th. And it only has to be administered one time, and therefore it is especially effective for the citizens. that are in an urgent situation. And we're also going to provide it to those citizens that urgently need vaccination. And for the convenience of our economy, we believe that it will be a great contribution. However, on one side, there are some military personnel that has not been vaccinated. And for those that are under 30 years old, we're going to make use of Pfizer vaccine and start vaccination in June for those as planned. Next is the plan for Moderna vaccine. Moderna will be introduced in Korea for the first time, and we're going to have 55,000 doses being introduced, and it will start its vaccination in June as well. We're going to apply it to those that are less than 30 years old and working in the medical field starting in mid-June. And we're going to select the ones that are subject to the vaccination going through the medical association. And we believe that once we can administer the vaccination to all the medical personnel, it will create a safer environment for our citizens that are making use of the hospitals as well. Until May, government was able to accumulate a lot of experiences on vaccination. And for the vaccines and Moderna vaccines, we're going to make use of the cold chains for its retainment. And we're also going to critically maintain and monitor any side effects. Dear citizens, the government has made sure to get the vaccines and be able to administer it as it was planned, and we are closely monitoring it. Right now, we have to closely look into its vaccination as well. Until now, around 10%, 5.9 million people have received vaccination, and we're going to make sure that more and more people can be vaccinated ASAP. And we believe that once people do so, we'll be getting closer to our BAU. Vaccine is important because it will keep us safe and it will also keep us healthy. As of midnight, for those in between 64 years old to 75 years old, there has been quite a lot of people that has reserved vaccination. And for those that are more than 60 years old, reservation has also exceeded 70%. Once you get vaccinated, you'll be able to keep yourself safe and healthy, and you'll be able to go back to your BAU as quickly. Curbing of COVID-19 amounts to 90% once you get vaccinated. And if you get vaccinated, your possibility of reinfecting others also decreases. Therefore, we want to ask our citizens not to be worried and trust the authorities and the experts and participate in vaccinations. For those that are between 60 and 74 years old, your reservation will last until June 3rd. So the government will strive hard so that our citizens can go back to BAU as quick as possible.
And that'll conclude our coverage of this briefing. Thank you for watching. Arirang News will be back at 6 p.m. Korea time.